the Lord is here with us as a God of protection, as a God who protects us, as the God who keeps us and protects us. Psalm 91 talks about this. Psalm 91:1 says, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High. God protects. Whoever dwells in the protection, it says, will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This is interesting, isn't it? Why the shadow? What's so special about the shadow? If I have to remain in the shadow, I have to be behind that person and just, wait behind his shadow. I just have to wait there. And I just have to hide myself behind that person. And if someone comes to attack me, who will stand before him? Will it be me? Will I need to fight? Will I need to fight back? No. It's the person under whom I'm hiding who will fight. That's why we hide in the shadow of God. Someone comes to attack you, who is going to fight for you? God is going to fight for you. And why the shadow? The speciality of this shadow is that you can only remain in the shadow if you do what the other person does. If you go where the other person goes, if God moves here, if you're here, you're not going to be in the shadow. You have to move along and say, "Lord, I'm hiding in your shadow." You have to do what the Lord does. You have to imitate him. In the same way, where the Lord takes you, you have to go. What the Lord asks you to do, you imitate. You have to do. Only then you can remain in the shadow of the Almighty. This day, that's where the protection is going to be for us. We can dwell in the shelter of the Most High when we rest in the shadow of the Almighty. And I love it when it says, rest in the shadow. What do we do in the shadow? Are we still going to be shaking with fear? Are we still going to be fighting? No. We're going to rest. We're going to take a cup of tea. We're going to take a cup of coffee or a cool drink. And we're going to relax and rest and say, the Lord, the God Almighty, the Most High is with me. And I'm hiding in His shadow. I'm resting in His shadow. I delight and dwell in His shadow. That's how God is going to keep us today. That's how God is going to protect us today. Rest in my shadow and relax, my son. Don't fret and fume. Let me protect you and guard you in all your ways. Today, in what all things is God going to protect us? 3 things we're going to talk about. Firstly, Psalm 121:7 says, God watches over our life. In the Tamil Bible, it's much more better. Unfortunately, when you translate it, you lose certain words. Tamil Bible says, God protects your soul. He watches over our life and He protects it. He protects our soul. How does He protect our soul? Psalm 63:1 says, He makes our soul thirst after Him. Psalm 42:11 says, He makes our soul hope in Him and wait for Him. He makes our soul praise Him. 3 things He makes our soul do: thirst for Him, wait for Him, hoping in Him, and praising in Him. That's how God protects our soul. That's how God protects our life. Psalm 91, if we come back to that, in 14th verse, it says, because He loves me, I will protect Him. I'll rescue Him. I'll protect Him because He loves me. That's what happens when your soul longs for Him, thirsts for Him, when your soul waits upon Him, when your soul rejoices over Him and praises Him, you love Him. And when you love Him, God says, I'll protect Him because He acknowledges my name, because He seeks after me. I'll protect His soul. I'll protect His soul. But Many times we lose this protection because we long for something else. We go after something else. And when we go away from longing God, we go here, we're no more in His shadow. And so we lose His protection. We are exposed to all sorts of things which are not in His protection. There was a game show that I watched on TV, and they introduced one of the players. They gave a background of him. They said, this man has a huge debt in his life, $10,000 worth of debt that he's seeking to repay and close somehow. He can't find a way. That's why he's in the show. He's come today to gain the first prize and to get the money winnings from the show and to repay his debt. This is his only hope. The man has come with such a longing. And so this man, the game show went, first round went, second round went, and they asked questions. He answered them well. They asked him to jump here, jump there, and cross all the obstacles, beat the other players. He did that so well. He was amazing at the game. And finally, he won all the rounds. He won over all the players, and he got a $20,000 worth of winning. And you couldn't catch him. He was jumping up and down on the stage. He was rejoicing. He said, yes, now I'm able to pay back the loan and much more. Look at what I've won. I'm so happy. I'm so delighted. So much joy in his face, so much relief. And then the host said, yes, congratulations. But we have one more bonus round. You can either choose to keep this $20,000 worth of winning, or you can give it up for a bigger prize. Look at this wheel. It has 4 things. A beautiful car, much more valuable than the 20,000. A beautiful piece of land, large piece of land, which you can gain. And another third thing, which was of great value. And then the 4th item was a bit of a twist. Only one item is a box of suitcases. But you've got 3 items in which you can gain such a big reward, much more value than the 20,000 that you hold. Will you spin the wheel, giving up the 20,000 and going for a bigger price? This man thought, yes, I can gain much more. I can have such a big piece of land. I can have a beautiful car. I can be luxurious. And he said, I'll go for it. I've got better chances of winning than losing. And he spun the wheel. The wheel went ta, 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 ta. Guess where it landed? 4th. A box of suitcases. It was all that he was left with. The man looked at it and he was dumbstruck. He couldn't believe his eyes. One moment he doubled the money that he wanted to make, paying off his debt. He was rejoicing. And the other moment, everything was gone, left with a box of suitcases. He was just there shocked. But the host said, oh no, I'm so sorry. You've lost everything. But you've got a box of suitcases. Don't be worried. Come back next time. Come back later. Okay, we've got to wrap the show up and we'll move on. And he moved on. But this man had lost everything. My friends, we might long for other things, hoping that money could be our hope. Money can take us where we want to. Money can satisfy us. But what are we left with? It doesn't satisfy us. We become greedy for more. Greed comes in our heart. We want more. We want more. And we lose what we have in the process.